ESPN scrolls. He wasn't just competing, he was building a serious resume at just 16 years old. Golf fans started asking, could this kid actually qualify for the US Open? But with hype comes pressure, and no one knew that better than Tiger. Every time Charlie teed it up after that AJGA win, the cameras followed. Tiger was often there, hoodie up, sunglasses on, blending into the background but watching every shot. At local qualifiers and regional events, his quiet presence spoke volumes. This was serious now, not just fatherly support, but legacy on the line. When Tiger's watching, the whole world starts watching too. Then came the US Open qualifier, a chance to punch a ticket to one of golf's greatest stages. Expectations were sky high, and Charlie arrived with all eyes locked on him. But what happened next? No one was ready for. Thousands watched a teenager tee off, so not knowing history was about to be made or missed. The USGA local qualifier at the Legacy Golf and Tennis Club wasn't supposed to be a media frenzy. These events usually slip under the radar since quiet, intense, mostly filled with unknown amateurs grinding for a dream. But not this one. The second Charlie Woods' name hit the tee sheet, the narrative changed. Fans lined up early, phones were out, and news trucks parked near the gates. They weren't just watching a junior golfer. They were watching the son of a legend try to carve his own path through golf's toughest proving ground. This wasn't just a qualifier. It felt like the start of something historic, or heartbreaking. Charlie teed off with calm shoulders and a laser focus. He started steady, making pars, showing maturity beyond his years. But the back nine told a different story. A pulled tee shot here, a three-putt there, and just like that, the round unraveled slightly. He carded a 75, finishing at +3, 7 strokes off the cut. The number stung. He knew it. He wanted more. But the truth is, even with that score, he played better than most expected. The amateurs who made it through, older, more seasoned, already NCAA bound. Charlie didn't collapse. He just got outgunned in a battlefield filled with grown men. And then there was the image that went viral. Tiger Woods standing quietly behind the ropes, cap down, sunglasses on, arms crossed. He didn't yell, didn't intervene. He watched, as a father, not a champion. He knew this moment. He'd lived it before, but now it was his son walking that lonely path from potential to pressure. Tiger stood behind the ropes, watching his son fall just short. Charlie walked off the 18th green not with slumped shoulders, but with fire still in his eyes. There were no tears, no tantrums, just focus. A loss, maybe. A lesson? Definitely. But Charlie didn't walk away defeated. He walked away changed. And then the golf world exploded with reactions. Within hours of Charlie Woods' final putt at the Legacy Golf and Tennis Club, headlines rolled in like a tidal wave. Fails to qualify, read one. Setback for the Woods legacy, said another. But buried in those clickbait titles was something more meaningful. Progress for Charlie Woods, a line that started showing up in fan tweets, Reddit threads, and golf blogs. Suddenly, the qualifier wasn't just a stat line, it was a litmus test for how the world viewed this teenage phenom. Critics saw a missed cut, real fans saw the makings of a comeback. Social media lit up in every direction. Some fans were brutal, mocking the hype. Others were supportive, pointing out that Charlie had improved massively since last year's attempt. A year ago, he was nowhere near the cut line. Now he was just 7 strokes away. That's a huge leap in golf, especially at this level. Even more impressive was how he handled the pressure. No slam clubs, no excuses, no signs of cracking. His body language was composed. His post-round interviews, brief, honest, and mature. Some said it was a failure. Others said it was the beginning of greatness. Veteran commentators began chiming in too. One former PGA pro said, "The kid's not chasing scorecards. He's learning how to handle the spotlight. And that's way harder than sinking birdie putts." Another called Charlie the most composed 16-year-old golfer we've ever seen on this kind of stage. The narrative was shifting, slowly but powerfully. What started as backlash turned into a respect-driven redemption arc. Then, just when the noise started to settle, Charlie posted a quiet message. No interviews, no press conference, just a few lines on Instagram. And it changed everything. And that's when Charlie posted something that caught everyone off guard. Most kids would hide after a setback, but not this one. The easy move after missing the US Open cut? Disappear. Go quiet, blame the wind, the pressure, the greens, anything. But Charlie Woods did none of that. In a sport where ego is as common as a 7-iron, he chose silence over spotlight. No dramatic post-round quotes. No excuses, just a calm, short message posted to Instagram. We had an exciting strategy and a good race in Barcelona until the safety car came out. Wait, that's Formula One. What Charlie actually wrote was simple. Didn't get the result I wanted, but I learned a lot. Time to keep working. See you out there soon. When you say less, people start listening more. Rumors immediately swirled. Some insiders said Charlie was shifting focus to upcoming AJGA events, possibly a big swing up in Montreal. Others hinted he'd rework his mental game, maybe even link up with a new sports psychologist. But one thing was clear, he wasn't backing off. In fact, he was doubling down. A few days after the qualifier, fans spotted him back at the medalist, grinding through range sessions with a coach by his side. No cameras, no Tiger, just Charlie and a bucket of balls. He didn't say much, but what he did next spoke volumes. Then came the whispers. His swing looked different, smoother at the top, more balanced through the finish. People watching those practice clips knew something was brewing. Not a restart, a reset. The kind of quiet retooling that champions do after losses, not to prove something to the world, but to themselves. This wasn't about the last round. This was about the next one. Most kids would take a break. Charlie went back to work, not because someone told him to, but because that's who he is. This wasn't a fall, it was a setup for something bigger. This story was never just about qualifying, it was about becoming. From the outside, missing a cut looks like a failure. A number on a leaderboard, a line through a name. But in Charlie Woods' case, it meant something more, something deeper. Just like his father decades ago, the early stumbles aren't setbacks, they're blueprints. Tiger Woods didn't walk into greatness untouched. He lost as a junior. He failed in qualifiers, and those moments, quietly stacked one after another, built the stone foundation for a career that would change the sport forever. Even legends start with losing. At just 16 years old, Charlie is already moving through a world most kids his age can't imagine. And he's handling it not just with raw talent, but with a patience and maturity that's leaving seasoned pros stunned. Pundits have started comparing his growth arc to Tiger's pre-Stanford era. Not flashy, but focused. Not instant domination, but undeniable progress. The kind that sneaks up on you until it doesn't. Greatness doesn't always arrive in wins. Sometimes it shows up in defeat. Then there's the shadow of the Woods name. That's the pressure no scorecard can show. Every tee shot, every Instagram post, every swing, it's all watched, critiqued, compared. And still Charlie walks forward, not trying to be the next Tiger Woods, just trying to be the first Charlie Woods. That's a different kind of courage. That's legacy in motion. He's not escaping his father's shadow. He's learning to cast one of his own. So